I feel like my whole life is a butterfly effect, and you can tell me, oh, that's not the butterfly effect, that's not the butterfly effect, but whatever. So, my whole life starting after I moved to Florida. So, I was working at the salon, and when I left that salon, they had a non-compete agreement, which is now legal. But at the time, it was like fully legal, non-compete, and it was 15 miles. So, when I left my last salon, I looked for my new salon space, like a suite to move into, because it was a commission salon, it was time. And this suite literally popped up on my Facebook Marketplace, because I was stalking Facebook Marketplace all the time to find random like Florida furniture. And I went to this one, looked at it, ended up moving into it, and every day I would walk out of the building and I would look up and I would see the building that I live in now. And I'd be like, wouldn't it be so cool if I could live there? At the time, I didn't think that I deserved a space like this or to live here. So I was putting it on this really high pedestal, and the owner of this suite kept saying, just go tour it, just go tour it, just go tour it. And I never did. I would just stalk it online. Now, at this time, I was living with my roommate, and she decided she was gonna go back home. So because of that decision, I was like, okay, I need to hurry up and find an apartment. I almost took an apartment that was a 15-minute drive outside of downtown, which if you have ever driven into downtown, you know that's a horrible decision. I was driving 20 minutes into downtown to get far enough away from my old salon. So I was scrambling looking for an apartment, and I was looking, this website was already up on my laptop, and I was refreshing it all the time because I just loved this building and it looks really cool. And I never thought I could live here, and I just kept refreshing it. And for some reason, I think it was the month, it was October, and it's like their slow season. So all the rates dropped. All the rental rates dropped. Every single rental rate dropped significantly. Like, I'm talking like $300 cheaper. And I freaked out. I called my mom, and she was like, just apply. Just apply. Do what you have to do. If they say no, they say no, but just apply. At this time, I was about to agree to move into the apartment that was 15 minutes away, and I wasn't locked in yet, but I figured I was just gonna live there, and it was not nearly as nice as here. So I applied, and I only had a week left until my lease was up at my current apartment. And I applied, and I called them, and they said, if you can submit everything within the next, like, it was Wednesday. They said, if you can submit everything by Friday, you can come get the keys Friday before we close the office. You can move in on Sunday. My lease was up on Monday. So I scrambled, I moved in, and when I was in my first apartment, I opened up my Depop shop. I always had it, but I wasn't super active on it. I started to become super active on it, and I started to also get into thrift resale. So I was getting into like consignment, finding designer items, posting them, so it was getting a lot more popular, and I was at the post office a lot. So when I moved in here and the salon's right there, and then I saw the post office down the street, I said, oh, perfect for my Depop shop. So then I was walking back and forth to my Depop shop after I moved in here. And I looked up and I saw this blue building, and there was a tattoo shop, and there's a Thai restaurant, and I love pho, so I kept going there to get pho. And there was there's a bunch of stuff over there, like barbershop, all these things. And I was like, oh my god, I love it over here. And the building had cute little balconies. And when I was in my space, I knew I kind of wanted a bigger space. I was like, I'm starting to need a bigger space. I do hair, I do lashes, like I want to set up a little coffee machine, you know, like I needed more space. And I kept looking at this building, and they had a number on the side, and I called it, and they said they were selling the building for like $3 million. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have $3 million, so I let it go. And then I kept walking by it to go to the post office, and then I looked up one day, and I saw that they were renovating the top floors, because you can see in the balconies. And I was like, why would they be renovating if they're planning on selling? And then I kept Googling the building, couldn't find any listings, and I was just like, there's no way that they're still leasing. They're renovating the top, and they're selling the building. There's just no way. That has to be wrong. And then all the listings were gone, even for selling it. So I was like, maybe they changed their mind. So I started stalking, but I'm not having any luck at all. So then at this time, I met my friend who lived in this building, and I had also done her roommate's hair. And we start hanging out, and she tells me that she's moving away. But she goes, these are some really good people. They work at this garage. If you ever need anything, just talk to them. They're super cool. I start talking to them a lot, hanging out with them a lot. Like on Saturday nights, I'll pop over and I ask them, I say, hey, your boss owns this garage and then he owned the other building. Does he know who owns that blue building? And he goes, yes, he does. But I personally go to that barber. And if you walk into the barber shop, drop my name and just ask them questions about what it's like to rent there so you can get the inside scoop before you do anything. And I did. I walked into the barber shop. I asked, and he said, oh, yeah, here's what it's like. And do you want the owner's phone number? And I said, duh, I want the owner's phone number. So then I called the owner, and that's the space I'm in right now. That's the space that I'm in right now. And they decided not to sell the building. The owner of the building had his sister take it over. So many things had to align. Like, I had to leave my first salon, end up 15 miles away, because I never would have did it. I never would have ended up downtown if it wasn't for me having to be 15 miles away. So I had to be 15 miles away. I had to go into this suite. I had to look at this building every day to live here. And then I had to walk back and forth to the post office every day to see that building. And then I had to call a million numbers. And I had to have my friends that lived here happen to know the guy at the garage, that happened to know the barber shop, that happened to know. And that's how I got my salon. I'm opening a salon. I'm a salon owner. I think that's the butterfly effect. I don't know.